Yo, this is Terrance Gaines, aka Brother Tech,
And this is Nica Montford, aka Tech Savvy Diva.
and welcome back to the Snob OS Show, the show for Apple snobs, where we talk all things Apple and then some. We definitely want to say thank you for joining us back this week. This is episode 142 of the Snob OS Show. Like I said, we want to thank you for your continued support. We want to say thank you to all of our snobbists. Those are our Patreon supporters who've been rocking with us for this long. We just wrapped our live taping, and not only did they get to see or listen to the show early, but they also got some extra content you will not hear on this actually recorded show when it publishes on Friday. So if you want to get that little bit of insight, you want to get that extra little bit of nugget, definitely join our Patreon. We are at patreon.com/snobos. And I think I want to, let's see if I can get this up here. Yes. Become a snobist. Go to patreon.com/snoboscast. And we've got a couple tiers for you to show us some love that way. So we definitely want to thank you, but continue to listen, continue to share, continue to subscribe, tell a friend to join the show. All right. So first things first, we want to get into the lowdown where we talk all things Apple. Probably the thing that's going to take up all the time is talking about iPad and iOS and iPad OS 15, because I think there's some pretty cool features in there that I think are going to take iOS 15, even though it's not a major change. They're doing some nice refinements and adding a bunch of features that people are going to use for a while. But before we get there, last week, we were able to finally pre-order some products. So I guess I wanted to ask you first, did you pre-order anything? Did you put your money up or did you hold back?
Wonk, wonk, wonk. I purchased nothing. The only thing I
Okay.
was thinking about purchasing was the Apple Watch, and that's
Okay.
not even available yet. So,
No, it is not.
my Apple Card stayed squarely in my wallet.
Mine did not. Mine did not.
You got
I
some
kind of
more?
knew it was gonna. Yeah, I kind of knew it was gonna happen, but it is what it is. So, like I mentioned, I got my wife the entry level iPad, the Generation 9, I think is what it was. Didn't get her the mini. She doesn't necessarily need a Pro. So I got her the entry level iPad, since it does have the better cameras, it does support the Apple Pencil, and it does have more storage as the entry level version. So I went ahead and got that for her. I also got her a iPhone 13, just the iPhone 13 regular, not the Pro, not the mini, because she does have an iPhone 10R, and that joint is pretty old. I've had to fix the screen. I've had to repair broken glass on it. So it was time. So, she skipped the 11, skipped the 12. So got her the 13. And like I mentioned, I've got to have the best phone in the house. So I use that as an excuse.
As an excuse.
And they gave me a good trade-in quote. They gave me a good quote, Apple. Now, normally what I do is I'll try to sell it on eBay. I'll try to go to some of these third-party apps. I'll try to do Facebook Marketplace. I'll even try to do Craigslist to try to get the most amount of money possible for my trade-in, so it doesn't feel like I'm spending $1,000 for a phone. I just didn't feel like it this year. So I went to Apple, and, for the pre-order, as I set up my pre-order, they asked you, did you want to do a trade-in? I was like, sure. I gave them all the specs of my 12 Pro Max, and they gave me a good number. It ain't the best, but it gave me a good enough number to where it's like, you know what? If so, with trading in my iPhone 12 Pro Max and buying the 13 Pro Max, same storage space, 256 gigs, I'm only paying $400.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do it. Sure.
Yeah,
Sign me up.
$400 is
Yes.
good. Yeah.
Sign me up. So, yeah, like I said, I ordered the iPhone 13 Pro Max for myself. So that's what we are waiting on in the mail. So I'll definitely be looking forward to that Friday. What Before I want to get into the iOS and iPad OS 15 features, it seems like a lot of people were experiencing iPad or iPhone pre-order issues, specifically as it relates to being able to get the 3% cash back. That's one
Mm.
of the benefits of using the Apple Card. When you purchase Apple products, you get the 3% cash back, especially if you use an Apple Card. A lot of people, even some people that I know, were experiencing issues when it was time to pre-order to where they could not use their Apple Card. So to
Mm.
scramble, they used other credit cards, forfeiting their 3% daily cash back. And, so everybody kicked up a storm. Of course, Apple is not the financial institution for the credit card. It is Goldman Sachs. So
Mhm.
Goldman Sachs decided that they were going to, kind of give everybody 3% back. So I'll just read this quote here. The problem was fixed a few hours after pre-orders went live, but not before a number of customers resorted to placing the charge on a different credit card, forfeiting the Apple Card's 3% daily cash benefit. The following complaints posted to various social media platforms. It appears that Apple and Goldman Sachs are making the situation right. Doesn't necessarily say how. I'm sure you have to submit a credit card or a receipt, maybe, some other proof of purchase, proof that you are an Apple Card member, credit card holder rather. And I'm guessing they will go ahead and, straighten you out. But I just thought that was interesting that, Goldman Sachs, this is not their first time. We've had the Apple Card for over a year, and I
It's
made
going on two
purchases.
years, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I've purchased multiple Apple products at launch, and I've never had an issue. As a matter of fact,
Mm-mm.
I didn't even have an issue this go around, because I was there, 8 o'clock Friday morning, making sure my purchases go through, and I did it all on my Apple credit card, and I didn't have any issues. So I just thought that was interesting that, Goldman Sachs, they're trying to, getting good with Apple, and they're making Apple look bad if people can't buy their products when
And get
exactly
their
how they want
discount.
to. Yeah, right. And get their cash back because it adds up.
Yeah.
I've been holding my cash back for like a year,
Hmm.
so there may be some products I may be purchasing straight off of,
Cash
Apple
back.
Cash.
Hmm.
Yep, the cash back. Exactly. Yep, yep. So that's all. I just want to put that out there. So if you are somebody who did have issues and you're listening to this show, definitely reach out to us. Let us know what your issues were, and furthermore, let us know what Apple did to fix it. How did they actually fix it? Did they just throw 3% based on what you purchased? Did they send y'all a Christmas card? Let us know what Apple did to actually fix the situation if you had troubles ordering products on iPad pre-order day. All right, so like I said, getting into the meat and potatoes of the lowdown, the iOS and iPad OS 15 dropped on Monday, and there's some pretty dope features. So I'm going to try to run through some of these favorite features. Of course, this is not all the features, but I'm going to run through some of these features that I enjoyed. And like I said, Nika, have you? Well, before I get into it, have you downloaded iOS 15 or iPad OS 15 on
Yep,
any of your devices
I
yet?
I've updated both my iPads and my phone, so I'm all up to date. And I did the update for Safari as well
Okay, okay.
on the desktop version. So
All right, all right. So let me see if I can go through some of these features. Let me see here. All right. So one of the ones that probably most people are going to be into probably is going to be the FaceTime, right? So this
hmm
gives you the ability to start a FaceTime conversation, create a link, and similar to like a Zoom, similar to like, Skype, any of these teleconferencing products, you can actually send a link out to other users. You can add it to an invite in a calendar, and anybody clicking on that link, whether they have an Android or a Windows device, can actually join in on your conversation. So that's probably going to be the feature that everybody else likes. Some of the other ones that I
Oh, I
thought,
actually tried
go ahead.
the one you're talking about now, the FaceTime one. I actually tried it with a couple of Android people. Most of the people in my circle are on iPhone, but I do have a couple stragglers that are on Android, and we
Mm-hmm.
tried it out, and it was pretty seamless. What I did find interesting was we are like, okay, we'll try it around 4:30, and
Mm-hmm.
I sent it to two of my friends that have Androids, and she didn't join. She wasn't able to join right at 4:30, so I logged in. I created the link. I sent the link out. You can give it its own unique name. I sent
Okay.
it out, and she wasn't able to join immediately. So then I left the FaceTime. And then
Mm-hmm.
when she was able to join in, I got a little notification that dropped down that said she joined. So then
Mm-hmm.
I went and clicked on the link, and it popped open the FaceTime. So what I think with this link,
Mm-hmm.
because she was like, her sons are on iPhone. They've been trying to get her to switch over to iPhone, and she was
Mm-hmm.
like, "So how can I call them?" And I was like, "Well, you can't. They will have to send the link to you." But
Mm-hmm.
what it appears as, once you create the link, and if you don't delete the link from your FaceTime app, you can go back and click on it any time. So it's kind of almost like an open line. So
Mm-hmm.
as long as you don't delete the link, if someone still has the link in their iMessage or in their
Mm-hmm.
meeting invite or saved somewhere, they can click
Mm-hmm.
on it, and it will essentially call that
Put them
person.
in. Oh, to call them.
Yeah, so it'll give the person a notification that says such and such is joining your FaceTime, or whatever you
Mm-hmm.
named
Mm-hmm.
the FaceTime link, because I think I named it
Okay.
like Android on FaceTime or something like
Right.
that. So
Right.
whenever they
Okay.
click the link, the little alert will drop down that says such and such has joined Android on FaceTime, and you can open it and start to immediately FaceTime. So the link is active until you delete it, because I think I created one link just to kind of see
Mm-hmm.
what it was about. And then when I went to delete it, it said, you delete this link and it won't, some message to the effect that once you delete the link, nobody will be able to use it again. So as long as you don't delete the link, it appears as
Right.
if that link remains active until you delete it. So whoever
Right.
is on the Android end, they can just kind of click on the link again, and it'll pop up the notification, and you can either accept it or decline it.
Right. Now that I guess that makes sense for recurring meetings. Like if you
Hmm.
are actually using, if you're completely using the Apple ecosystem, including Calendar and including FaceTime for conferencing, you're not using Zoom, you're not using Teams, you're not using Skype, you're not using Cisco and these other things, then you want to set a recurring meeting. So every Monday at 2 o'clock, you want to be able to use the same link in the same reoccurring event without having to go through the process of creating a link, sending it out to all the people. You add the link to the meeting invite, and that it's always there. Similar like how Zoom works.
Yeah, and it's the look and feel is very much Zoom, or Google Meet or whatever. It looks and feels very much like your typical teleconference type of setup that we've all seen, especially during the pandemic. So it doesn't look to me traditionally like FaceTime. The little window is now at the bottom on the right. And then, of course, the main window is whomever you're talking to. But then there's kind of like blank spaces as well in case you have multiple people. It kind of fills the screen. So, in old FaceTime, it usually the other person's face takes up the full screen, and you're kind of like a
Right.
little block at the top. That's no more. Even the person you're talking to doesn't take up the full screen anymore. It's kind of like mid of the screen, and then you kind of have like little controls at the very top. So it very much is the look and feel of your Zoom, or any of those. What is it? Blue Jeans, I think, is another one. It is definitely more of that feel and less of actual FaceTime feel.
All right, all right. So the next app that or feature that I use all the time now, I actually used it to set up a lot of the show notes. Is the ability to drag and drop across apps. So the way it works is instead of you highlighting a piece of text, whether it be a link, whether it be text, whatever the case may be, you got to figure out how to get it highlighted. Then you tap it again to copy it, and then you open up another app. Like in my instance, I was in the news app and I wanted to take some of these features and bullet point them. Instead of me highlighting the text, copying it, opening up the Google Docs, and then doing a paste. Once you, with this new drag and drop across apps feature, you have to take two fingers, especially if you're on a phone. You highlight the text and then press and hold on the text. It'll actually lift up off of the screen. And then what you do is you take your other finger and use the multitasking, swipe over to the other app, and then position it using the same thumb that you're holding the text, quote unquote, holding the text, and you position it where you want it to go. Take your finger off, and it actually puts it right into that field. So this comes in handy for like taking images. Like if it's almost like it's not almost like it is drag and drop, like you're using, like if you're on a Mac and you clicked on an image and you wanted to drag it into a email to compose an email and attach that image, you can do the same thing with iOS using this drag and drop feature. I mean, like I said, it not revolutionized, but it just for something that I do specifically, like setting up show notes for the podcast, this feature, it like shaved like serious time off of me having to copy and paste and go back and forth. I could just drag content into my note and then let go, and it actually put it there. So
it may not
that
be
was,
like a
go ahead.
sexy type of, I guess, feature, so to speak, but the reward from it, the increased productivity, the cut down on time in doing this, it sounds like it's well worth, the new feature, even though it may not be as flashy as some of the other features.
Right, right. So the other one is live text and photos. So this one may be the sexy one, right? So you can actually take your phone, take the phone's camera. Like if you're at a billboard or you're at a restaurant and you want to get the link to the website, you can take your phone's camera, highlight it over the text. Your camera will recognize the text. It will recognize if it's a phone number, and it'll give you ability to call. It'll recognize if it's a website, and it'll actually give you the ability to click on it and actually click on the link. If you want to, myriad of things, I'm pretty sure, you can think of all the different ways.
All the different use cases.
Right, all different use cases. You can pull information off of a business card, add it to your contacts list, all the things that you can think of. For instance, you can copy, select, look up, define. So like if you're in a foreign country and you're looking at a sign and you don't know what that sign means, you can hold your your phone up using live text. It'll translate it for you. You can look it up. If you don't know what a word is, you can do the lookup feature. So that's one of these features that I think a lot of people are actually going to use, so much so to where it just becomes second nature. Another thing that we harp on is I use LastPass for password manager, but I also use LastPass Authenticator for two-factor authentication. So instead of a website that I want to log into, sending me a text message with a code that I have to then confirm, a lot of sites are giving me the ability to use a built-in authenticator app, which is even safer than sending a text message. Apple has a built-in authenticator in and of themselves to where you can go into your saved passwords for iCloud and you can go in and actually, like said in the picture in the screen here, you can actually enter a setup key or scan a QR code depending on what website or what service, how to use it. Some of them give you a key that you have to enter. Some of them flash a code. If you scan that QR code while you're in this authenticator setup, it'll create that authentication for that site. So whenever you go back, you'll be able to authenticate using your phone, which using an iPhone, because again, Apple, they put heavy emphasis on security. So it makes sense for them to be able to let you use your phone as an authenticator for specific sites that you want to sign into. So,
and it's helpful because everybody has an authenticator. Google has an authenticator. Microsoft has an authenticator. Like you said, LastPass has an authenticator. And this way, it's just one that's already built in to your iOS, and it's not something that you necessarily now have to do something external for. You can use it built in right on your phone.
Exactly. Yep. So let me give you a couple of these other ones. I don't want to run down the whole list. I just want to do some of the ones that I like. All right. So another one is shared with you. So if somebody shared a photo album, if somebody shared a website, if anybody shared any sort of information, Apple gives you a specific area to where you can see all the items that have been shared with you. Some of the other ones, I don't know how you feel, how I feel. I think it's okay. A lot of people are back and forth about this Safari redesign in iOS. Specifically, they have put the URL window at the bottom versus it being in the traditional top like it is on website or desktops rather, and on tablets. So I think the jury is out on whether or not people like that or not.
I don't
I
mind
guess I
it.
just want to, yeah, you don't mind it. Okay, me
No,
neither.
it's not a huge inconvenience. It just takes a little bit of reorientation. But again, it's like
Right.
anything, Apple is usually kind of ahead of the curve. And next thing you know, a lot of people are going to start popping at the bottom if the
Well,
feedback is positive.
Well, the reason why I like it is because I've got a big phone and my hands are not huge. So being able to grab the URL is easier when I'm using my thumbs at the bottom of the screen versus
Because
trying to
your
use
thumbs are already down there by the keyboard. That makes perfect sense. Yeah.
exactly versus trying to reach up at the top. Of course, this first world problems, but at
Yeah.
the same time,
And it could be accessibility as well, because a lot of times we don't think about people who are differently abled. This could be, an improvement for them being able to use a web browser. They don't necessarily have to, reach higher up if they're already able to use their adaptive device, or if they have limited range of motion or mobility. This makes it easier for them if they're already kind of holding the phone down at the bottom anyway. So it's usually more than one, reason that it's helpful. And the people that are complaining about it are probably people who don't have any type of accessibility issues. And for someone with an accessibility issue, this might be a game changer for them.
Right, right. One of the other ones is hide my email. So this will come in handy to where, if you want to sign up for a website to get some information, like for instance, this is one that pops up in my head. If I want to sign up for a website to get a coupon code, like
Hmm.
you go to any website nowadays, enter your
Put in your
email to get
email.
15% off
Yeah.
first purchase, right? So you enter your email. If you enter your email, that's putting you
It's
into
spam.
their newsletter. So they're sending you 50 million thousand newsletters. So the way I can see using Hide My Email to work for me is I create a email account using Hide My Email, go to the website, enter the email, get the code, use another email to actually make the purchase on the website. Like if I'm legitimately want to make a purchase,
Hmm.
but I don't want to be on their newsletter, use the fake email to sign up for the newsletter to get the coupon.
Hmm.
Use my real email when they got to verify who I am to make the purchase. And
Hmm.
then go back into hide my email, delete that email address. I don't get any spam at all. So
Yeah.
that's just the one way I can think of to use hide my email, but it's legitimately supposed to be used to hide your privacy, right? So you can
Yeah.
create emails that will forward to your real email without actually having to give out your real email address.
Yeah.
That just, if that makes you feel better, if you do want to, you may want to sign up for a newsletter that actually enjoy, but you just don't feel like giving out your real email address. You can give
Or
out, you
if
can,
some, or if you meet someone at some event or networking
right,
thing, and you don't
right,
want them to have your real email, because you can kind of get a sense if there are people who are gonna bug you or a lot, or kind of like just overdo it. Give them the fake email. You respond, I guess, initially, and then if they keep, harassing you, it's not a big deal because it's not my real email anyway.
right. And like you said, and if you want to be, passive aggressive, you just delete that email and boom,
Mhm.
the emails go
Well,
nowhere,
then, yeah, yeah. Or if you like,
right?
if you're like now, like all of the like newspapers, pretty much everything is almost behind some sort of paywall, and they want your email just to move forward. Drop that in there, go look at what you want to look at, and then delete it and go on about your business, and you never have to worry about them, just
Right, right.
bombarding your email with random stuff that you don't really care about.
All right, all right. A couple other ones that I'm gonna run through real quick. Detailed photo information. So this comes in handy for me because I always want to know how big my images are, especially if I want to put them on a website or something.
Mhm.
Now you can, on an image, like in your photos library, you can swipe up on the image and it'll give you more information, like the image name, how large it is, the location, what camera settings you used. Of course, all those things look Greek to me, but if you want to know if it's what aperture, what lens, what telephoto, all those different things,
If
it'll
you're a
give you
real
all that information.
shutterbug
Yeah, yeah.
and you
Which
know what that stuff means.
Right, which I am not, right? But that definitely comes in handy, like I said, specifically for me, how big it is. Like I'm always having to resize images when I'm
Mhm.
putting stuff on the internet because, I don't know what size it is, but this way I'll know what size it is before I'm actually going through all the process trying to resize and reshape things like that. Another thing that may be coming in handy, temporary free iCloud storage. With every iPhone, they give you 5 gigs of storage. You can't do anything with that, specifically when you are buying a new phone and you need to transfer information. So
Mhm.
what Apple's doing is saying, hey, if you need more space, temporarily we'll give you more space so you can do things like back up your phone to restore it to a new phone, if you're going to offload data, whatever the case may be. And then after the allotted amount of time, they take that space back. So that definitely will come in handy. iPad app library. So I'm very anal when it comes to my home screen on my iPhone. Same thing with my iPad. They've brought the app library over to the iPad, and for those people who don't know what that is on your iPhone you can set up your home screen with all your apps the way you want it to, and then any other apps, if you swipe to the next screen, they'll go into a library to where you can then do a search, or go alphabetical to find them. So they brought that functionality over to the iPad. iPad home screen. They've actually given you more room at the top to actually customize and get more widgets on your app, your iPad home screen. iPad split screen functionality, so it's easier to do split screen to where if you want to put, a Safari on one side and you want to put, Google Docs on another side. Like I said, personally speaking, if I'm setting up notes for the show, it's real easy to select which split screen you want to use, which side, turn it on and off with that split screen functionality. And then the only other thing that I actually didn't like once I turned it on was dynamic head tracking with spatial audio. So if you got iPad Pro, AirPods Pro, or you've got the AirPod Pro Max, the big ones, the ones that I have,
Over
you
there.
can turn on, yeah, you can turn on spatial audio, but you can turn on dynamic head tracking. So if you're listening to it on your phone and it's positioned right here and you turn your head, the spatial audio will keep the sound just in this ear. And then if you turn your head the other way, it'll focus it back this way. And then you same thing if you're walking away from something, the dynamic head tracking will track that. I didn't like that, so
Mm.
I turned that off. But there may be some people who want to get that experience to where if you're sitting in front of your big television and you got your AirPod, your headphones on, and you go to move, you want to keep the sound localized to the screen. So that's what that does. So
And I think it's
again,
coming
go ahead.
to air. I think it's coming to the HomePod and the HomePod Mini as well. I read somewhere that they are in beta for that. So that feature, I think, would probably be, I guess, an improved listening experience on something like a HomePod or a HomePod Mini because that's giving you kind of the surround sound kind of feel.
Right,
I haven't
right.
tried that
And
yet. I haven't tried it yet, so I don't know.
yeah, I tried it and I was like, yeah, I don't like this. Then the last thing is focus mode. So
Mm.
do not disturb. You can turn on do not disturb, and you can stop people from sending you messages. You can stop the little notifications from popping down. Well, focus mode takes that to the next level to where you can set different do not disturb profiles, for lack of a better term, for doing different things. So, for instance, I was able to get in there. So I've got a do not disturb for on air. So when I'm doing podcasts, I can turn on the on air do not disturb, and it turns off all my notifications. But it keeps the ability to send text messages. So, like I said, for give you inside baseball on how we do our show, we send each other links to join a show. We send each other links to make sure to check things before the show actually comes on. And I want to see those messages on my phone when she's sending me something like if I fade out, like my internet goes out or Nica internet goes out, I want to be able to see that she's saying, "Hey, I lost you," but I don't want to hear the
The
notification because I
ding.
might be
Yeah.
right, because I might be on air, right? So you can set those different things versus exercise. I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to see nothing. I just want to exercise.
Focus on
So
that.
no phone calls, no text messages, no notifications, nothing at all, right? Versus when I'm at work, I may want to just get phone calls from my wife, versus nobody else gives me phone calls, not my kids, anybody else that may be bothering me. So you can change all those you can create all of those focus modes
Customize them.
based,
Yeah.
customize. That's the word I was looking for. Customize them based on how you do things. So
Yeah. I'm excited about focus mode.
okay, yep. So that was pretty much the rundown of the iOS or iPad OS 15 features that I liked. Nica also mentioned that for Mac OS, there was a Safari redesign. I've been playing around with it. I had to get used to it. They kind of they've tried to streamline that as well. One of the things that I've noticed is tabbing back and forth
Yeah.
in Safari looks a little bit different. The tab takes on the dominant color of the website. So if you're on a website that's purple, the whole
Your
tab
screen's
will
gonna be
be
purple.
purple. Right, right. So, that may help, to differentiate from some of the other tabs that you have open. You can do tab groups.
Hmm.
So, like for instance, for our show, if I've got our show notes open, I've got the streaming app tab open, and I've got all of the links that I want to include in the show, I can make that a tab group and then split that off from different other tabs that I may have running. So that's just some of the few things. I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of other things. Security,
Yeah.
there's a lot of different security reporting. Does a better job of
The
telling
privacy
you,
tracking
right, the
is
privacy tracking, all
handled
those
up a
things.
notch. Yeah.
Yep. So that's pretty much all the stuff. So definitely, if you're listening, let us know what features you like the most out of iOS, iPad OS 15. I definitely think this is them being Apple, refining iOS, and really like getting it to where they want it to be, especially with all these new features. These are like some definitely helpful features. No fancy. I mean, some of it is kind of, window dressing, but a lot of this stuff is actually useful features, versus in the past, maybe, they've made things look cuter.
Hmm. Yeah, because
Versus these are actual.
I had someone on Facebook, a Facebook friend I actually went to college with. He was like, yeah, he was like, I don't really see a whole lot of changes for, iOS 15. I was like, yeah, pretty much everything is under the hood. You can see the visual representation of what's under the hood if you start turning things on and off and setting them. Then you'll be able to really see the visual. But for the most part, it's making things your productivity, making that go up, streamlining things, making things more simple, making it more accessible. It's not as flashy as some of the other iOS updates that we've had. Physically, visually, maybe is the better word, but under the hood, it's some pretty good stuff.
Right, absolutely. All right. So that is going to do it for the lowdown. We're going to move into second string, where we just talk tech in general. Don't have a lot going on this week, but I did want to talk about this particular story because I was reading it and I was like, you know what? They got me. So basically, what this is of course, all the kids nowadays, are on phones, and everybody's using mobile wallets now, and everybody's using mobile payments. You think of Cash App, you think of Venmo, PayPal, excuse me, Zelle, all these different ways to pay for things. And of course, the more people that are using them, the younger people are using them, of course, more scammers are using them as well. So they go in, and the story that I'm reading or actually looking at in Fortune is talking about, how Everfi, this is a company that focuses on education for K through 12. They did a survey of over 26,000 students spanning middle and high school who completed an online course about modern banking and identity protection. 39% of those students reported currently using a peer-to-peer payment app, and another 32% of them planning on getting one. And of course, the problem with that is, more people using them, the more scammers are coming. And I wanted to read one because I was like, hey, they got me. So, for example, scammers might connect a stolen credit card to a peer-to-peer payment app, think a Cash App, for example, send money to a random user and request it back, claiming the transaction was a mistake, like $2 or $3 or something like that. Once they, get the refund, or once the person that they quote unquote sent the money sends it back, they will disconnect the stolen credit card and replace it with their own. When the credit card company recoups the stolen funds, they'll be withdrawn from the victim's payment app. Yes. And I read that and I was like, wait a minute. And then I went to my phone and I went to the Cash App and I scrolled through. I was like, hey, somebody did send me a $5 request and then requested a refund. And I was like, no big deal. It's $5. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only T Gaines out there on earth. So sure, refund you $5. And I don't know, but it sure sounds like after reading this, what happened. So your boy got, if I'm being honest, I think I got played. I got the okie doke pulled on me. So I wanted to put this story out there because not just kids and adults are getting scammed on mobile payment apps. And here's another one, especially with Venmo.
Speaking of this one, you know what? So I got my driveway pressure washed a couple of months ago. And the guy who did it, he gave me his Cash App. I showed it to him. I said, is this your Cash App? He said, yes. I clicked on it and sent $75. He's like, I never got it. Turns out he barely glanced at it, and I sent the $75 to the wrong person. So I requested it back, and the person declined it. I'm wondering if they just declined it because of this type of thing, or just declined it, the refund, because they wanted my $75.
It could have. I don't know. So
I don't know.
I want to believe that the people thought maybe you was trying to scam them,
Maybe.
and they said, "Nah, we're going to decline it." But they just got $75 because Cash App will say and Venmo will say, once you send this money, it is gone. So be sure this is the person that you're sending to. So a tip for you and anybody else who is doing a transaction in person, you got to be in person, is Cash App and Venmo and PayPal give you the ability to create a QR code on your app. You take that QR code, the other person that you're trying to pay or the person trying to get money from uses their phone in the Cash App, scans the little QR code. It automatically gives exactly who you are per the code, the amount of money. I think you can even encode it with the right amount of money so you're not paying them too much or too less or whatever. Scan that. And then there you create a good handshake on who you're trying to pay and then how much you're trying to pay them. So that's a tip right there, right?
Yeah, I probably should have done that because I had him look at it and I said, is this it? And he was like, yeah. And it was like the most of his name, but I think it was some numbers at the end. And he probably saw the beginning part. I was like, yeah, that's me. And went on with that. So I don't feel so bad now about thinking that someone just took my $75. I can at least
but they did.
They were, listen, they did. But I'm going to say, you know what? They probably thought I was scamming them. So,
that makes you feel better.
Yeah, that makes me feel a little bit better about being out of my $75 because I had to pay it twice. So.
Right. So, Venmo is even worse, right? I don't even use Venmo that much because Venmo publicly, publicizes who you're paying and how much you're paying them.
Who you're paying and what you're paying for.
I don't know what that's about.
Right.
But anyway, the Better Business Bureau describes a Venmo scam in which a perpetrator views a user's public profile and creates a username that looks nearly identical to that of a legitimate contact. The perpetrator then requests funds from the victim from a seemingly ordinary expense and pockets the money. So say, for instance, me and Nica, we send each other Venmos. Like if we go out, we meet for a podcast or something and she covers the drinks, and I send her Venmo, and we do that on a regular, maybe once a week or once a month. Somebody publicly can see that I am paying Nica $5 for drinks, and I do it
Every
multiple.
2 weeks they're seeing the consistency.
Right. So
Mm.
they create a Venmo account that says Nico Montford, Nico Montfords.
Mhm.
Right. It changes it just a little bit, but it's
Mhm.
really inconspicuous. And then that person sends me a Venmo request for, $5 for drinks. And I'm like, well, maybe I didn't pay her the last time. Well, let me
Mhm.
just go ahead and pay her because maybe something happened. And then now they
Mhm.
got my money because they saw our public profile, they saw our habits, and they said, all right, well, let me see if I can get them out of some money. So these are just some of the scams that are happening. So the same report that this EverFi company did also indicates that young adults are highly susceptible to fraud and are losing significant amounts of money from scanners. From the first time since the report was published, people ages 18 to 24 had the same median monetary loss, around $150, as those 65 and older, with
Hmm.
online purchase scams posing the greatest risk to the younger group. So again, this hits home for me because I have a daughter that's 13 years old. She has a smartphone. She has a little credit card. Once this whole COVID thing is over and we feel more comfortable about her going out, they'll probably
With
start
their
going to the
friends.
mall more. They'll
Mhm.
start going to the movies more. They'll go shopping more. And I can see being multiple instances to where, one person pays and, oh, just PayPal me or just whatever the money. I want to make
Mhm.
sure that she is doing it the right way and not falling susceptible to people, trying to get out her pockets because indirectly those are my pockets and I don't like getting
Right.
played.
At all.
Right, right. But I just found this was interesting because again, they're focusing on kids, but I read it and I was like, hey man, wait a minute. They got me.
We are all susceptible because I think we use these apps so much, and if you see something, it's like, oh yeah, that's kind of right, and you don't really pay too much attention to it because
Right.
we cash out people all
All
the
the
time. I
time
mean,
for
literally,
small amounts of
for the
money.
smallest amount of things. And it's just like, oh yeah, I forgot to do that, or did I really pay that? Maybe I didn't. You just go ahead and do it, and keep on going about your business, and not even really thinking to even go back and look at it again.
Right, exactly. All right, so the next one, I think you will enjoy this
Hmm.
one. They, DoorDash saw the trend, saw that y'all were getting a little toasty during the COVID in these COVID streets, and decided that DoorDash now they're going to jump into the fray and offer alcohol delivery service. So over 330,000 wines, beers, and other liquors will be offered from stores and restaurants across the US, which can be bundled with food orders. DoorDash says customers will have to go through a rigorous ID authentication process in the app to verify their age, and couriers will also need to verify the ID at the time of delivery. So I guess my question to you is this something that you will do? More importantly, I think you use Thrillist. I think is that what was the name of that?
Drizzly.
Drizzly.
Yeah.
You use Drizzly. Is this something that will pull you away from Drizzly? I don't know how often you use DoorDash, but my guess is, and maybe this not may not be you, but it'd be me, right?
Hmm.
I don't use Drizzly at all, but I do use DoorDash.
See,
If
and I
I
don't
know,
use.
go
Yeah.
ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I use DoorDash. Now, if I can say go on DoorDash and ordering me and my wife some food for our in-home date
Date night.
nights,
Hmm.
and I'm ordering wings and I'm ordering fries and I'm ordering desserts, and I can stay within the same app and also order drinks because I'm in DoorDash versus going to Drizzly. I don't have to go to a separate app. That may be something that I may do. So, how does your scenario work? Would you use this or is this appealing to you?
So I don't really I have DoorDash, but I don't really use it. I'm more of a Postmates Uber Eats girl.
Okay.
I don't use DoorDash that much because I think when DoorDash came out, Postmates and Uber Eats were the predominant ones. So they had more offerings than DoorDash. I think I may have used DoorDash maybe once or twice, not so many. But for me, the thing with Drizzly is, it purchases from the liquor store that's in my neighborhood. And so that's how they're able to turn around so quickly. But if this was in like one of the food delivery apps that I use, I would definitely use this. So
Okay.
hopefully Postmates and Uber Eats are listening so they can kind of get on board. But with Drizzly, it's like within an hour because they do use local couriers and they use the same, liquor stores that are in your same area. And they do, when they deliver it, you have to put your ID and stuff in the app, but when they deliver it, it's like when you go to like either what is it, like the airport or any other place and they scan your ID, they have their phones that they have to scan the front and the back of your ID to make sure that the ID is valid. So that's probably when they say rigorous ID authentication, that's probably what they mean is that whoever is delivering it, they won't hand over the alcohol until they have your ID first and they scan the front and they scan the back to make sure that it's a valid ID and it's not a fake ID.
Or even better, this is the way I would do it is if I was DoorDash, I would be the gatekeeper as far as the authentication process, similar to my vaccination card. I had to
Mm-hmm.
jump through all these hoops to confirm who I was, confirm that I was vaccinated. Once this company did all that, they gave me a quote unquote digital pass to put in my wallet app. So when I go to the airport or when I go to a concert or I go to any place that was requiring proof of vaccination, all the other person has to do is just scan that pass. It tells them who I am. It tells them that I went through this process of going about their business, right? I
Mm-hmm.
can see the same thing with DoorDash to where they are the ones that force and confirm and verify who I am once I make a order for some alcohol and have DoorDash deliver it. The DoorDash person scans this ID or scans this QR code that DoorDash creates, and then on their end they see that I am who I am. They have a picture, it shows that I've been through this process versus actually having to give them my ID, and they have
Mm-hmm.
to, for security purposes and just to make it go faster, right? I'd rather be able to show
Do it
them
on
my
the
phone
front
and they
end. Do
scan
the
it.
do the
Right,
bulk of the
right.
work on the front end rather than when you get there having to scan
So
the
all they
front,
have
having to scan the back. Yeah.
and lighting and all that stuff versus they can
Yeah.
hold their phone up to my car, my code in DoorDash, they
Mm-hmm.
scan it, they look at me, look at the name, whatever, and they go about their business.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's smart.
All right, all right. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there because I saw that and I was like, yeah, I'm eventually gonna do it. I kind of like going to the liquor store, and I guess it's the package store for all my seasoned folks out there, right? I like actually going and walking down the aisles and seeing what's out there, seeing how it
Mm-hmm.
looks, look at the packaging, things of that nature. But
Mm-hmm.
eventually I get to where I need to order something and I'll actually just go through DoorDash, especially now that I already use DoorDash for a bunch of other things, right?
Yeah.
All right. So that is it for second string. Let's move into for the culture. I know you are a concert goer. You've been to multiple concerts since we just been doing this show. You talked about going to the club quarantine with
Mm-hmm.
DJ D Nice recently.
Mm-hmm.
You are the type to be on the hunt when it comes to hard to find concert tickets. Word on the street, well, not word on the street, it's been confirmed that the Fugees will reunite for a 25th anniversary tour of their most popular album, and I think their only album,
I
if I'm
believe so.
correct, The Score.
Mm-hmm.
My question to you is, knowing that this was a popular group when we were coming up,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that you enjoy going to concerts,
Mm-hmm.
but also knowing the history as it relates to Lauryn Hill and her ability to even show up at a concert, if not hours late. Will you be looking forward to trying to get tickets to go to the Fugees' 25th anniversary tour if it comes to or gets close to Atlanta?
So it is coming to Atlanta.
Okay. Okay.
The group chat with my friends that are my concert buddies, it's already been discussed.
Okay.
Um, we are a bit gun shy because we did go to the last Lauryn Hill concert when she came to Atlanta, when she came to Chastain. We
Mm-hmm.
are still, what's the word I'm looking for? Gun shy, shell shocked, um, traumatized by that event because we did rack down to Chastain where the performance was.
And I
We
remember you
did sit
saying
there.
about Chat Club Chastain with DJ D Nice was there for the club quarantine, and you said Chastain they shut down at 11 on the dot.
They cut her off while we were there.
Oh
So
wow,
we
you were
were
there. Okay, gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
we
yeah.
were
Okay.
there for 3 hours or so. Her opening person did their thing. I think there was a DJ that did that thing. We actually kind of tried to block it out because it was a lot. So she comes out at like 10:30, 10:45, and starts her set 11 o'clock on the dot. She's going, it was lights out. Then she was trying to explain. She was trying to talk. Girl, you are in an amphitheater. Your mic is cut. Nobody can hear what you're saying. All we see are hand motions. No, girl. Mm-mm. They told you when they booked this venue that this is in a residential neighborhood. This is an old money Atlanta neighborhood. They have strict
Right.
rules. And at 11 o'clock, the plug is being pulled. I guess she thought because she's Miss Hill, because that's what she likes to be referenced as, Miss Hill, and she
Okay.
had to get her chakras aligned. That's why she came out late, because her
Oh
chakras
boy.
weren't aligned for her to come out and perform. That she thought that all of that was like she was exempt. Mm-mm. Some people don't care,
Or
girl.
get excused for that.
Right. So we are discussing it because I don't think they come to Atlanta until the end of November.
Okay.
So we're kind of playing it by ear. One of my friends was like, I wouldn't mind seeing Wyclef. Um, and she
He's
was
pretty
like,
talented, by the way.
yeah, and she was like, they can just play the vocals, to kind of fill in if she's not there. So we're kind of, it's on our radar. We're just gonna see how the first shows kind of play out before we make any firm commitments.
I gotcha, gotcha. Because not only does, if I'm reading this correctly, not only does Lauren Hill have some history as it comes to some of these
Both of
concerts,
them. Hmm.
Praz may be in some issues as well, which may cause some issues as it relates to him being able to show up at some of these events. The reunion of the legendary group is significant in part because of the interpersonal and legal turmoil that ultimately led to the group splitting in 2006. Praz, who seems to be allowed to tour despite facing criminal charges of campaign finance violations in connection to the 2012 U.S. presidential race, said that there was a better chance of seeing Osama bin Laden and President George Bush in a Starbucks having a latte discussing foreign policies than seeing him work alongside Lauryn Hill again. So that was very descriptive.
Yes. Very
But
direct
basically,
and very detailed.
but all that to say, they had some issues back in the past. I'd say as late as the early 2000s. But for whatever reason,
Lack of
it
money
seems that
will make
I
people
said
change their
whatever
mind.
reason. You said whatever money. I wasn't going to
The lack
assume.
of.
Right. They have decided to join forces or reunite for this tour. So again, knowing how the internet loves to, and rightfully so, loves to call you on your shit, it will be interesting to see how this tour goes, in the wake of all of the issues Lauren Hill specifically had. And again, how cohesive they'll be at these concerts. Will it just
Yeah.
be Wyclef over here, Praz over here, Lauren in the middle, or will they really be putting on a show,
And
which is what most
putting
people want to see?
that's what people want, especially in this pandemic, people are looking for nostalgia. That's why, Club Quarantine was so popular. That's why Versus was so popular. It took people during all this chaos and the uncertainty that we're in the state of the world where we are now, being transported back to your teenage years, your college years, your young adult years, and just the nostalgia is kind of lifting and it's fun and it kind of helps you take your mind off the present day. People want that same feel, and I don't know if they're going to be able to give us that same feel as they did back 25 years ago. Just think of how people change and grow and life
Right.
experiences happen over the course of 25 years, essentially for us, from high school until
Right.
now. And if they're going to be able to recapture that magic that they had, because the run that they had was pure magic. Lauren Hill's
Right.
Miseducation was pure magic. Are they
Right.
able to capture that again? When we kind of saw her at Chastain, the magic wasn't there because the music was, I don't think she owned some of the rights to things, so it was kind of like chopped and screwed. She couldn't sing it straight out the way it is on the albums because of legalese. So she had to kind of
Right.
chop and screw it a little bit just to be able to perform some of it. So it doesn't really give you that feel. So that for me would be one of my concerns. First concern is Lauren going to show up on time? Are her chakras going to be aligned on time for the show to
Yeah,
start?
I'm gonna need you to pre-plan and align your chakras mad early. Do what you got
Right.
to do. Burn some incense, smoke some weed, do a
Whatever it is you got to
line,
do.
whatever you got to do. Do that early. Do it early. Do
Yeah.
it early
Start
in the
now.
day.
Start
Right.
now.
Start right now.
And the
Because what
other
I'm
thing
af-
is,
go
no,
ahead.
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say what I think is the problem is going to be is it's going to be sporadic. There are
Mm.
going to be cities that get the best concert from the Fugees ever. And then there are going to be some cities to where their hearts just were not in it at all. On top of audio issues, on top of their own personality struggles, on top of all the other things, some cities are just going to get Rudy Putin. And
And
then there's some.
that's how her show was. We were encouraged by the way she did some of her initial shows. They said she came out, she was great, her voice sounded great, she was giving it to you. So we thought we were going to get that too, but we did not.
Right,
So
right,
it's
right.
probably going to be a grab bag of what you get. And my other thing I was going to say is the cohesiveness. Are they going to be performing as a unit, or are they
Right.
going to be performing as Praz, as Lauren, as Wyclef?
Wyclef,
Is it
right.
going to feel like a group? And if it doesn't feel like a group, then it's all pointless. And the third thing
Right.
is, I don't know what the tickets cost. So that's going, and we pay, we're seat snobs, so we like really nice seats. We will pay for
Right.
them. We paid
Right.
lots of money to see, different people. And if I'm shelling out that kind of money, I need some sort of guarantee that I'm going to get my money's worth.
Right. Right.
Even though
Yep.
we did get our money back for Lauren, which was good. But people made, it's at Chastain, so people made an event out of it. People had to get babysitters. People had to,
Right.
get transportation down there because Chastain is not the easiest place to park. You had to pay for parking. You had to pay for food. Some people made a thing out of it, so they probably got new outfits, got hair and nails, and all those type of things. And those are the things that are costs associated with the event, in addition to whatever the price of the
Just the
ticket is.
tickets. Right.
Right,
Right.
right.
So it'll be interesting to see because I hope that Miss Hill
Miss Hill.
learned her lesson because they destroyed her on the internet. So
Oh, the jokes were flying, and they were funny.
whether she's one of those people to where they read the tweets or not, I'm pretty sure at the very least she has learned her lesson, and some things will change. It'll just be interesting to see if they just get their act together or do they put on an act. And I think there's two different things, right?
And let me just say, I caught some internet strays for being by some people who were are blue checks. So for the Lauren show, I was like, at least she came out and did one song being facetious, And then I had some blue check people in my comments. Oh, is that all it takes for you? And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm the victim here. I
Right.
was victimized, and I was like, can you not get sarcasm? If you see
Right.
me tweeting this whole event the whole 3 hours saying how horrible it is out here, and then when I say this one thing, you're just like pouncing. I'm like, whoa, how did I catch a
Right.
stray bullet for Laura Hill being late and her chakras not being aligned?
Right. Right.
So yeah, it's tough out here in these streets.
Well, I guess so. All
Yeah.
right, all right, all right. Well, that's all I had for the culture. We're gonna close out the show like we normally do with the hookup, and like I mentioned, I did purchase some Apple gadgets, and I am currently waiting on the shipping and the tracking confirmations to pop up. That lets me know that the products are on their way. So in the meantime, I just thought I'd give everybody a tip on what I use to actually track packages, and I actually use Siri to track my packages. So I did like a little blog post on how you go through the process and do it. So without getting too far into the weeds, basically what you do is, we'll use Apple for example. They really don't send out tracking until products actually start shipping. There are some companies that as soon as you make a purchase, within 5 minutes, you get tracking information, and then you're like a madman trying to click on the tracking updates and refresh, and all you see is package label created for like three days,
Three
and then
days.
finally your package is in Missouri or something like that. So Apple kind of waits until they're actually shipping stuff to actually give you a tracking. So if you're worried about porch pirates, or you just want to make sure you're at home so you can get them as they deliver it, what you can do is once Apple sends out the tracking URL, you basically do like you normally would, click through to actually get the tracking URL. You copy that, open up the Shortcuts app, and create a new action. Once you create a new action, it'll give you a bunch of options. You want to pick the web option. Once you click the web option, it'll give you the option to open URLs. And then once it puts that, I don't want to call it text, but that line in the action, you actually highlight the URL and you paste the tracking URL in that field. You can give your shortcut a name, call it, where's my iPhone, where's my iPad, and click done. Once you click done, it'll put that shortcut into your Shortcuts app, or you can have the option to actually put it as a home screen icon. So instead of you opening up Shortcuts and then running the shortcut to track your packages, you can create a home screen icon, put that on your home screen, click the button, and it'll actually show the tracking information. Or if you give it a simple enough name, like where is my iPhone, you can set it and say, hey, homegirl, I don't want to say her name, where is my iPhone? She'll go through the process, open up this shortcut. So I just thought that's a cool little tip for any of those people looking for their products, and you can use it for anything. Like I said, I used it this week. I bought another pair of shoes, and just to make sure. I've seen some stories on the internet where these UPS, FedEx, USPS folks are getting downright disrespectful when people order shoes, specifically sneakers. They just open up the box, will deliver a empty box to your house and turn around and walk away. Yes. So, I got scared and I got panicked. So what I did was I created this shortcut to track my shoes. So as soon as the shoes hit the doorstep, I was standing out there ready to get my package. So you can do this from
Maybe the
pretty much
shoe people just start disguising the boxes because
Yes, they do.
yeah.
Specifically Nike. They'll put the Nike, like Amazon, Amazon, who knows what you'll get if you order something from Amazon. It could be, a $2,000 purse, or it could be a
Mm-hmm.
$20, whatever the case may be. It just says
Phone case.
Amazon.
Yeah.
But Nike,
It's
people are,
orange and it's got the big check.
and it's got the Nike tape. It's got the Nike tape. They box up tape up the boxes with the Nike logo. So, and especially
No,
people
bro,
who,
you can't do
yeah,
that.
yes, especially people who are watching these releases, because
Mm.
the world knows when Michael Jordan launches a new, Jordan 1 X, Y, and Z. So these FedEx people, they know when these Nike boxes start, they got a pretty good idea what's in them. So
Yes.
they just go
Yep.
into them. So all that to say, instead of you waiting around to get a tracking alert in your email that something's been delivered, you can actually click this shortcut or use Siri and say, "Hey Siri, where are my sneakers?" And she'll give you up to date. She'll open up the tracking, go to the URL, do all the processes to where you can get accurate tracking information. So I just thought I'd put that one out there. And then the other tip I actually have two of them. The second one is selling your old gadgets, right? So I've got a bunch of gadgets coming in. I want to make sure I clear out a bunch of gadgets. The app that I use, or the site rather that I use, is called Declutter. DECLUTTR. And basically what that is just a website to where you can actually buy and actually sell your old gadgets. And the reason why I like this versus trying to go on Amazon, or trying to go, not Amazon rather, trying to go on eBay, or trying to go on Craigslist, or trying to go to some of these other places, is I don't feel like dealing with it a lot of times. I rather just want to go list my stuff and actually just go about my business. And the way Declutter works is, you go, you give them the name, you give them the model, you give them the gigabytes, you give them all the specs. They give you a quote. You agree, you approve it or not. They send you a label. You throw your stuff in the box, slap the label on it, take it to UPS or wherever. You send it off. In a couple of days, they'll examine it, make sure it's legit, make sure it said how the condition was, what you said it was, and then they give you money. You may not, now I'll admit, they are not going to pay you top dollar as you would trying to sell on eBay, trying to sell on Craigslist, trying to go on Facebook Marketplace, or even just sell to friends and family. Like, there's been times where I've been on, Instagram and tried to sell old phones. The problem is everybody wants to ask the same old questions. Well, what condition is it in? Well, what color is it? Can you hold it until Friday? Is it worth getting this phone or getting another phone? I don't know. Do you want it or not? Do you want it? Yes,
This
or
is
I
what I
put it
have
out
to
there.
offer. Yes or no?
This is how much it costs. Yes or no. I don't want to deal with that sometimes. So when I don't want to deal with that, I go to Declutter. So we'll definitely put a link in the show notes for that. But yeah, just wanted to put that out there. So if you are trying to get rid of your, some gadgets in your tech junk drawer, definitely check them out. Like I said, they'll give you, like I said, they ain't gonna give you the most money, but they'll give you the least hassle. So that is my tips for the week. And like I said, Nica, if you don't have anything else, I think that is it for the week. So we will definitely say goodbye for now. Before we leave, we definitely want to thank you for your continued support. One of the ways that you can show us some love is if you download, rate, and review our podcast. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and we're on Spotify. We're at SnobOScast. You can engage with us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Again, we're at SnobOScast. I actually put up a little thing here. There you go. You can leave comments and suggestions. You can go to the web. We're at snoboscast.com, or you can send us an email. We're at snoboscast@gmail.com. You can also go to our website to join our community on Discord. We have a public cat Discord server. So if you go to our website and click on the link to join our community, it'll take you to our Discord server. Definitely come in, check us out. We've been having conversations all this week. We helped some people update to iOS 15, did all kinds of things. So that's kind of conversations we're looking for in our community chat on Discord. You can support us monetarily by becoming a Patreon supporter. If you go to patreon.com/snoboscast, you can actually become a Patreon supporter. We have a couple of tiers. For $3 a month, you get access to the live show, and you get access to exclusive content that you won't find on the published show. For $5 a month, you get exclusive content. You get the live show taping, and you also get access to a special snobbish channel inside of the chat community. And you also get the live audio feed of our exclusive content if you just want to listen to that separately. Definitely want to thank again Charles Hall. He upped this amount in Patreon, so we definitely want to say thank you for that. If you don't want to do the monthly support, you can give us a love offering. You can go to paypal.me/StobOS and give us a one-time tip, to let us know we are doing things out here in the streets. So, Nica, if you don't have anything else, that's going to do it for this week. We are out.
Bye,
Peace.
everybody.